Brilliant Stars isn't even out yet, but we already have details on the next English set, Astral Radiance, which will be available on May 27th. Thanks to the reveal of Battle Region in Japan and Pokebeach's translations, a decent amount of cards from the upcoming set are now known. Astral Radiance will be a combination of Battle Region, as well as the unrevealed Time Gazer and Space Juggler sets that will be out in Japan in the near future. Obviously, the major highlight with Astral Radiance is the introduction of Hisuian Pokemon from Legends Arceus. So let's get started with the V-Star cards featuring the Evolved starters. Easily the best of the three in terms of V-Star power is Hisuian Typhlosion V-Star. The first attack is fine, dealing 180 damage and spreading a few damage counters, but the main draw here is the V-Star power. For a single Psychic Energy, if your opponent's active has 4 damage counters on it, it's knocked out. This is just like Yveltal GX's GX attack, and it will always be a threat in Psychic decks, or decks that can just run Aurora Energy. Thanks to cards like Galarian Zigzagoon and Quick Shooting Inteleon, getting 4 damage counters on a single Pokemon isn't tough, so get ready for Hisuian Typhlosion. Hisuian Decidueye V-Star has an okay attack, dealing up to 250 damage if you discard 3 energy from your hand. The V-Star power, however, is also very good. You just draw until you have 8 cards in your hand. Obviously, Arceus V-Star lets you get any 2 cards whenever you want, but in certain decks the raw draw power will be a huge improvement. Also, if you're a control deck player, please don't look at the first attack on Decidueye V. There's nothing going on there, absolutely nothing. Hisuian Samurott V-Star seems kinda underwhelming at first, but like Gengar VMAX, it's extremely consistent. 220 damage for 2 energy is really good, especially since all you need to do is Zigzagoon Ping to activate the damage boost, and Dark Packs exist to fill the energy requirement. By playing it with the Inteleon line and Choice Belt and the Hawlucha I'll be talking about later, Samurott V-Star could be a real threat in Standard. Additionally, while the V-Star power just puts 4 damage counters on one of your opponent's Pokemon, that could help take a KO. On its own though, this V-Star power is absolutely horrible. Then again, you could put a 1-1 line into Eternatus VMAX and make it even easier for Eternatus to one-shot a fellow VMAX. Sticking with the Hisuian Pokemon, one new theme is the return of free attacks. Just like a Alolan Pokemon, you can use certain attacks like Basculin's Schooling or Typhlosion V's Singe for 0 energy. Personally, I don't think the non-V-Star Hisui Pokemon are worth paying attention to. Maybe the Overquill could work in a poison deck with Toxicroak, but that's about it. The other major introduction with Astral Radiance is Sparkling Pokemon. They're powerful new cards, but you can only have 1 Sparkling Pokemon in your deck. Not one of each, just 1 total. And they're all good for different reasons. Heatran works really well with Magma Basin, dealing 70 damage times the number of damage counters on it. Clearly, Heatran will be insane in Expanded, but if it can survive 2 turns in Standard and use Magma Basin twice, it'll deal 280 damage for 3 energy. It's just a shame that for some reason Heatran looks really weird. Greninja is a card that could fit into a lot of decks. The attack does 90 damage to 2 Pokemon for 3 energy, but the ability is the main draw. Once per turn, you can discard an energy from your hand and draw 2 cards. Again, a perfect combo with Magma Basin, or really any deck that has energy to spare or can recover energy. And finally, Hawlucha. If it's on your bench, you deal 30 extra damage to Pokemon VMAX. Until VMAX Pokemon are removed from the game, this will be a huge consideration for most decks. So if you're having trouble against a certain VMAX deck, chuck Hawlucha in there with a Choice Belt and life should get a lot easier. I won't cover every single card revealed from Battle Region, that would just take too long, so I'll just focus on the ones that I think will impact competitive play. This includes a single prize Pokemon that can one-shot Mew VMAX for 0 energy. Yes, the Pokemon Company realized Mew VMAX is too insane, so they're giving us Mightyena. The attack does 160 damage for 3 energy, but if your opponent has a VMAX in play, Mightyena attacks for free. And if you're playing a Zoroark deck, you can surprise your opponent with a Mightyena pretty much at any time. So if you're having trouble against Mew VMAX, come late May, you'll have some help. In terms of ultra rare Pokemon, we have Starmie V. Whether or not Starmie V sees play depends entirely on how the meta shapes up. If something like Shadow Rider gets good again, Starmie will be great. That's because its second attack does 50 damage times the number of energy attached to all of your opponent's Pokemon. So if they have 6 energy in play, you're doing 300 damage. Cards that rely on your opponent aren't something you can count on 100% of the time, but if you read the landscape properly, they're absolutely broken. Similarly, we have Lucario V-Star. Its V-Star power does 70 damage times the number of energy your opponent has in play. If they have 5 energy, then you're one-shotting most Pokemon with that V-Star power. Lucario V-Star can also benefit from a new energy acceleration card, Gutsy Pickaxe, which I'll cover in a bit. And for the last V Pokemon, we have Darkrai V-Star. It has Dark Pulse, which does 30 damage times the number of dark energy you have in play. Hydreigon can flood the field, or you can use Dark Patch, or Bidet, or Raihan, or other cards in Standard to get that energy in the field. Or in Expanded, you have a million ways to get it powered up. Hoot Hoot's next. As long as it's in play, basic energy on your bench Pokemon is protected from cards like Crushing Hammer. The fact that it only protects benched energy hurts the potential, but it's still something worth pointing out. And then we have Kleavor. Will it be competitively viable? I highly doubt it. Will it be fun to play in Standard and Expanded with Glimwood Tangle and Fliptini and Will? You betcha. Kleavor's Lumberjack Hack attack costs a double turbo energy and can KO any Pokemon in the game so long as you flip 2 out of 2 heads. Again, super inconsistent, but just imagine how much fun it will be to KO a VMAX with this thing. And then we have Miltank. Prior to Fusion Strike, Miltank would have been absolutely amazing, but Mew VMAX now exists and can one-shot it without issue. Still, the ability makes Miltank immune to damage from Pokemon V, including VMAX and V-Star. Mew VMAX notwithstanding, Miltank could force people to run a single prize attacker in their deck, or everyone could just decide to play Mew. Either or. Moving to the trainer cards, we have Roxanne. Closer to Ace Trainer than N, Roxanne only works if your opponent has 3 or less prize cards remaining. Both players shuffle their hand into their decks, then you draw 6 and they draw 2. I don't know if this is something attacking decks will have more than one copy of, but between Eldegoss V and Lumineon V, finding it shouldn't be an issue. You'll just have to decide if your deck is better suited to be aggressive at the beginning of the game and just forego Roxanne altogether, or if you want that late game potential where Roxanne can just lock your opponent out for a turn or two. Jubilee Village is about as close to Tropical Beach in Standard as we're getting. At any point, either player can shuffle their hand into their deck and draw 5 cards, but their turn ends. Stall decks will love it, everyone else will hate it. Canceling Cologne is something that will likely see more play in Expanded, letting you shut off your opponent's active Pokemon's abilities for your turn. This means something like Honchkrow GX or Snorlax is rendered useless, giving you a chance to attach your special energy or retreat. Basically, it's just a card that will make the game healthier. And finally, we have Gutsy Pickaxe. Kind of like B, but not really, Gutsy Pickaxe lets you look at the top card of your deck. If it's a fighting energy, you can attach it to one of your bench Pokemon. If it's not, you put that card into your hand. So best case scenario, it accelerates energy. Worst case scenario, your 60 card deck now only has 56 cards. That's a fairly good worst case scenario in my opinion. And that'll do it. This was just a quick preview of some of the cards coming with Astral Radiance in May. When the next Japanese set is revealed, I'll probably do another preview. Until then, let me know which cards you're most excited for from this set. And if you want to watch me play Brilliant Stars on Pokemon TCG Live, check me out on Twitch starting on Tuesday, or wait until I start posting videos around the same time.